We're very happy now to be joined on the phone by our buddy Dave Baker. And Dave, the big news, of course, is that Mark Stoops has left Florida State to be the head coach at UK. What is your reaction? Fans are excited. What do you think of the hire?
Well, fans are excited. I think it's obvious that that Mitch Barnhart put a lot of thought and effort into this hire. He's gone out to one of the top programs in the country, gone to one of the top family trees in the country in terms of getting his next coach. And now the proof will be in the pudding and see exactly what Stoops can do.
The hiring of Stoops to me was exciting, and it was a little surprising. It was like you said, a smart move. But as we're hearing now, these assistant coaches that may follow him to Kentucky, that's even more surprising and more for fans to look forward to. The next couple of months with Mark Stoops, as he settles in, feels out the guys on the roster, the recruits, the staff, what are those months going to be like for him, and what do you want to see as he prepares for next season, really?
Well, as I talked about, I want to say the day of the hiring, my information was that he was probably going to bring two guys on staff with him. That would be Elliott, the defensive ends coach, who may or may not be coming as the defensive coordinator. And I believe it's Mark Colley, and I'm not sure about the pronunciation of the name, and I should be. But he's the offensive coordinator there now. However, it's one of those situations where he's the offensive coordinator in title because Jimbo Fisher is still calling his own plays. My understanding is that Jimbo Fisher would also like Elliott to stay on the defensive side of the ball as well. So I don't think all of that has played out yet. But I think even more so than recruiting and all that other stuff, since Mark Stoops has not been a head coach before, I think the most important thing he's going to do early in his Kentucky career that will have long-term effect is going to be how he puts together his staff.
Are you surprised at all about how much this, I mean, Monday, the UK fan base, if you just read what's online and Facebook and Twitter and stuff, was still very split, frustrated with Mitch Barnhart, frustrated with the options that were out there. By the time Stoops was hired, everybody was practically celebrating. Are you surprised at all about how it all came together so quickly for a fan base that's been fractured for the better part of a year, maybe longer?
I don't think it did come together all that quickly. I think based on what he's done in the past, Mitch Barnhart was very deliberate about what he did. I think he did his due diligence. Sometimes these things do happen. They seem like they happen instantaneously, but they don't. The last time this happened where somebody came in from the outside, Mitch had actually been using Rich Brooks as an advisor on the deal. And then all of a sudden they said, well, hey, why don't you do it? And when his name popped up, everybody's like, oh, okay, where'd this name come from? And so I think people want to be in the know, but they're not, and that can elicit a negative reaction. And again, I don't want these remarks to be misconstrued, but I think fans are excited because there's somebody else there. I mean, The same kind of excitement was there when Billy Gillispie was hired, and it's because, people want to believe and they're excited and all that stuff, and that is in no way, shape, form, or fashion to compare this hire to that hire. But most of the people who are excited because they are fans. They want the program to move forward, and that's not based on a lot of actual personal information they have about anybody or any situation.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think that part of what made people feel so engaged with this hire was Tim Couch was involved in it. And I know you know Tim very well, and I don't know what his involvement has been with UK the past couple of years in terms of if there's been any, as counsel or anything. But Tim was a part of this hire. How smart was it of Mitch to get Tim Couch involved in this process and trying to locate the next coach?
But I think it was incredibly smart. I think it only gives him somebody with some expertise, somebody who's still involved in the game. I think what it also does is it helps to give Barnhart credibility in the search. If you look at what Jay Jacobs has done down at Auburn, who is probably Mitch Barnhart's best friend amongst the SEC athletics directors, Jacobs has put his search committee together, and he's got Bo Jackson and Pat Sullivan on there, along with a booster, Matt Crawford, who has some thoroughbred interest in Lexington. But, I mean, when you've got, two of the three Heisman Trophy winners from the school advising you on what to do in terms of a coach, that makes it very difficult for, alumni groups and fans not to have any buy-in, and B, it makes it just almost impossible for people to come back and second-guess you on the deal. So I thought it was a prudent move.
What are realistic expectations for next season? I think if you look at, last season, the team was young. There were some bright spots at times, and Max Smith was injured. When you look at next year, the first year of Mark Stoops, what are realistic expectations for UK fans expect in terms of wins and losses?
I don't know what the realistic expectation for fans are. I think it's more important to look at what the realistic expectations are for the coach. And different coaches do it different ways. It doesn't make any difference what sport. Some coaches will come in and they've got their system and they're going to put it in, and they're going to put it in 150%, even though they may not have the personnel to play it. And then there are other folks who are going to say, okay, this is really what we want to do, but here's what we got now in terms of talent. And so we're going to have to kind of phase it in until we get everybody we want. I've not had the opportunity to sit down with Mark Stoops yet, so I don't know what he's planning on doing from that standpoint. So I think the most important thing is what are his expectations, and then how is he going to go about the implementation.
All right, Dave Baker, thank you very much. It's an exciting time for UK football. It's been a while since we've been able to say that, but we appreciate you joining us, and we always enjoy talking with you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Teach.